What's cracking, people? Angelic Mayhem here. Welcome to Final Thoughts, my new video series where I point out the pros and cons of a brand new video game title so you can decide for yourself if this title is right for you. In this episode, I spent my entire 4th of July with a video game called Soldier Front 2, a first-person shooter I found on Steam. In this series, you never have to wait for my opinion. In this case, Soldier Front 2 has some harsh and unpleasant interface issues that combined with an overpowered sniper rifle mechanic to create a poor showing by modern FPS standards. But is it right for you? Well, let's find out. To begin, Soldier Front 2 is a free-to-play FPS title that's available on Steam and the Area network. The game was developed by Dragonfly, an Asian game house that specializes in FPS. They have multiple titles including Karma, Quake Wars, Soldier of Fortune, and Van Online. They started out making standard PC games back in the 1990s, but they transitioned to all online stuff. So by that metric, I expect a lot out of this title simply because the designers are quite seasoned in this genre. This game is a standard FPS title where you play as one of the members of a military squad, yada yada yada, fighting against members of another military squad. In fact, the whole game is team versus team. I didn't see a single free-for-all match. The game is heavily invested in microtransactions. You can't buy sunglasses for your character. You have to rent them for 7 days. Everything is pushing you to buy newer, better stuff in the store, which is a little sad, but at the same time, you know, free to play, they have to make money somehow. So it's a shame the way that they're doing it, but I understand that it needs to get done. Apparently, this is a sequel, but I have zero knowledge of the original game, so I'm judging it solely on its merits. Let's start with the pros. The game is fast. Frames per second in the 200s. I was especially impressed with what appeared to be zero lag time. Okay, and in fact, the graphics aren't amazing, but they do the job. You know, they look all right, and that's all that really matters. You know, the game flies by. In games like this, field of view can be an issue. However, in this case, I had no problems with my ability to see everything. However, I will admit that there is no Fov Slider, which would be nice, you know, if you could adjust it yourself. The maps are fantastic. They are fun, have special places where you can have some really nice firefights, and they're small to keep the action going. The game modes are pretty standard stuff. Except for Shatter mode, which allows you to play inside of a glass-floored arena. You can shoot out the glass out from under your opponents instead of shooting them directly to send them plummeting to a lower level or to the spiky floor below. However, there are huge trampolines that kind of float around underneath of you, so if you end up falling, you can actually pop yourself back up into the game if you aim it right. So that was a really cool game mode. I had a huge blast with that thing. If for no other reason, you might want to check it out just to see that game mode. Okay. When setting up a game, you can password protect your room to make sure that only the people who you want, like your clanmates or whatever, can come in and join you. I love double KO. Okay, which is where you and an enemy both shoot at each other at the exact same time and kill each other. I think that this should be in every FPS title from now until the end of time. There is no aim assist. You hear that, Call of Duty? No aim assist. Infinite replayability, as you might expect from an FPS, and I also would like to mention that the location finder, the little mappy thing in the upper left-hand corner, was done really well. It's very easy to locate your guys. You can see what direction they're looking, and you can see whether or not they're engaged with an enemy. So all of that was really good. Now, let's talk about the cons. Okay, and there are many. The interface is absolutely nauseating. All right, poorly designed is an understatement. Rebinding was a nightmare, as I had to zero out all the current set key bindings and then reset them. Basically what happens is, let's say that you have up as W, okay, and you want to reset it as E. If any other key is already set to E, then when you try to reset the key binding, it won't let you. So you have to spend your time just fighting with this thing. It made me angry. It was so awful. Then there's at the bottom, okay, clearly these designers were so attached to their design that they didn't consider whether it was good or not. Because down the bottom there's a secret key binding pop-up because they couldn't fit all the key bindings into their stupid design. So they actually have like this little button that you have to click on to get the rest of the key bindings. It was so stupid. The help menu is just literally a black screen with 4 arrows, and one of which points from the word store to a button that's clearly labeled store. It was really bad. Setting the game to 1280 by 720 only changes the actual match window when you're inside of an actual game. And it does nothing to your main menu, okay? Which is locked in some ridiculous aspect ratio. I have no idea what it is, but it's ridiculous. The avatar icons that you can choose from, all right, to represent you in the game have basically 2 characters, okay? There's one dude character and one female character who have like face paint on, okay? All the other ones are complete crap. One of them was like a teddy bear, one of them was like a lollipop. Clearly not the top choices for a military themed offering, all right? You can see people's feet through the walls, which makes them obviously easier to kill. And you can shoot through the walls. Now, I applaud the fact that you can shoot through walls, but the designers took it just a bit too far and let you shoot through, for instance, mountains and other clearly bulletproof obstructions, okay? So, that's one of my pet peeves in FPS is that usually you can't shoot through a wall. I really like that they let us do that, but they took it just a little bit too far. I wish they would kind of reel it in a little bit more. There are many places where you spawn into the middle of a firefight. So, and in fact, as you're spawning, you light up this brilliant white color, okay, just to make sure that the enemy sees you real good. While they're looking at somebody else to kill them, they can kind of swing over and find you. Most FPS games don't have female characters, and that's crap, okay? In this game, you can play as a female. You have to buy the skin, but you can do it. However, she's wearing a lace-up bodice and a pair of hot pants, all right? And she's dressed all in bright red, so you can see her coming a mile away. And she's wearing pumps, all right? Now, this is actually, in my opinion, worse than if she was just simply missing, okay? Just once, I would like to see a decent female dressed in fatigues, no super tight shirt, no nothing else, just a regular female option in a first-person shooter. Is that too much to ask? The sniper rifles have a cone of aim that rivals a howitzer, all right? I have seen dozens of replays of me dying from dudes who were quick-scoping and not even coming close to me, all right? Now, it's the single worst part of the game, and I'm not upset because they're quick-scoping, even though quick-scoping is reserved for talentless hacks. I am, however, upset that they're missing, and clearly the game is just giving them credit, all right? It was horrific. You can't go prone, even with a sniper rifle. Occasionally, when you respawn after dying, the game will freeze, and you have to tap the escape key real quick to get the controls to work again. So you're kind of hitting the direction buttons, but nothing's happening. I'm not sure what that's all about. You can pay for bullets, or earn them if you play long enough, that are more damaging than regular bullets. I can't tell you the number of times I went 1v1 and had the drop on a guy and was totally just killing him off, and he just spun around and killed me with a quick burst. Same gun and everything. There's no limit to the number of buffs you can buy as long as you're willing to spend real cash to make it happen. In one match, a guy on my team went 56 kills and 1 death, and his bullets were at least twice as powerful as everyone else's. If you have one type of grenade in your inventory, it can only be placed in one of your 3 builds. Alright, so if you switch builds, you won't have any grenades. You can't run while taking fire or reloading. I can understand, I guess, the first one because you're kind of being hit, so I guess theoretically you couldn't run, but it's weird for an FPS. As to the second one, you should be able to run and reload. I'm a soldier. I've been trained how to do this. The game has a regularly scheduled message asking if you've purchased anything in the store that pops up at inopportune times and fills up not only your screen while you're playing, but also the team chat window. Very annoying. There's no voice chat. It's all text. So if you want to communicate, you got to type, which obviously takes away your hands from your keyboard. So that's a thing. If your guy is in a doorway, you can't get by him. All right, and the same if you're in the doorway, your team can't get by you. If you're in a window sniping and an enemy comes in behind you, you can't jump out the window. So you're just dead. In seizure mode, if you are shot while carrying the briefcase, it stays where you were, wherever you fell, it stays there initially, but after 30 seconds, it resets itself. And that's just stupid, okay? If I carry it all the way to the helicopter and it's right next to the door, don't send it back to the start. That's totally unrealistic, all right? Let my guys go pick it up next to the helicopter and just walk it where it has to go. So, final thoughts. While the free-to-play model gives you very liberal license in my book, there's only so much I'm willing to forgive. In the end, this game offers a standard and capable, albeit vanilla, FPS experience, wrapped in a crappy interface. The constant calling of attention to the store and the clearly sexist attitude towards women in combat are glaring and annoying. While I did have a blast playing the Shatter level Funhouse, in terms of FPSs, the rest of the game was just more of the same. Sadly for me, this game was a pass, but is it right for you? Well, only you can decide that. Hopefully this video will help you in that regard. And if you have any questions that I didn't answer, leave them in the comments below and I'll see what I can do. Thank you for watching this video, and if you enjoyed this video, please click the like button or subscribe to my YouTube channel for more content like this in the future. I'm Angelic Mayhem, and I will see you next time.